Welcome to the shit show.
It is the All Elite Wrap-Up for June 19th, 2025. It's the 619, Tom. We got folks watching. There's folks in the chat already. It's me. I'm in the chat.
Oh, my God.
I invite you to join the chat.
Hey, let's get to the breaking news. Breaking news, everyone. For people who have listened to this show long enough.
Yeah.
You know how great this is. I just found out before.
Yeah, this is the best news. Yeah.
I just found out that our captain, the one that leads this ship, Tim Raynor, that guy right there, his LinkedIn. LinkedIn with Jeff Jarrett.
I think we're losing you a little bit because you're laughing so hard into your microphone. But what Tom is trying to tell everybody is that, I found out that I'm connected to Jeff Jarrett on LinkedIn. And I don't really remember how or why that happened. But, I had the notifications, right? And I'm like, what's going on in here? And Jeff Jarrett's got this post of hey, proud of the AEW production team. And I'm like, yeah. Jeff Jarrett. God. I'm friends with we're LinkedIn. We're gonna network chat. We're gonna have a virtual coffee chat, Tom. You ever have those in your office?
It's so great on so many levels. One, that it's the oldest way to still scam people on social media. And Jeff Jarrett's on there.
Yeah.
Two, that it has. What the fuck is he going to do with anything business related? He doesn't run one. He doesn't do anything.
He does. We saw this. He's running something. Somebody hired him to run something. And we were like, what?
But then also that you, a man who hates him.
and have no real connection to Jeff Jarrett. I've never in person touched this man's hand. I've never.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like a boss of yours worked for him.
I've never worked for Jeff Jarrett. No, 6 degrees of separation at best, right? At best. I know a guy who has his email. I'll say that, right? That's about it.
I love that so much.
And so,
oh, my God.
We're going to have a virtual coffee chat.
I hope so.
Right? Yeah.
You're getting the shirt when do. You're definitely getting
Well,
the
that's
shirt.
funny because you have the shirt. So let's, we want to keep talking about Jeff Jarrett. We can pivot over to Tom. Tom, man, what is new in Tom's world besides this great news that has lifted your spirits out of months of depression, I assume?
Oh, it's the best. Oh, my God, it's the best. Oh, man. Oh, God. I don't even care what the rest of them
You were excited earlier today because Jack jacked 2 home runs for the Royals.
Jack.
That had you geeked. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Jeffrey Allen Caglione. Jack. Don't call him Jack Caglione because that makes no fucking sense because my initials are TJM. We wouldn't say Tidjum McCullough, right? You don't use the last name twice. So stop fucking doing it.
We are going to say now. We're going to call you Tidjum
McCullough.
Tim and Tidjum here.
Yeah. I mean, if you want, Tidjum's fine, right? If you're like, hey, Tidjum, sure, whatever.
But you wouldn't say Tidjum McCullough. I get what you're
right,
saying.
because the M is already taken for in the acronym.
Right.
And so I can't stand when people, because here's the thing. I've argued about this with my therapist for a long time because I was like, this is what I get aggravated about. And he's like, pick your battles. I was like, but we all know I'm right because
I'm picking this one. That's what he said.
Because what makes me mad isn't that if he wants to be referred to, hey everyone, call me Jack Caglione. Sure, I'll call you fucking
Jack. Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, the whole name. Hey, I want to be referred to if you introduce me to anyone as Jack Caglione. I don't give a shit, right? I'll call you turquoise fucking peppernickel, whatever the fuck you want, right? But when the PA announcer and the facts of the score sheet and statistics for history books that go forward, no, unless you want to change it legally to that name, right? Because for example, if you look in the history of, I'll just use an adjacent sport to pro wrestling, MMA, Quentin Jackson beat Chuck Liddell, right? But when he got introduced, when he won and celebrated, they said Rampage Jackson with the knockout, right? But in the fucking official things, it says Quentin Jackson, because we don't just say nicknames in the official stuff. And
I've got a great segue for that, because one time you had me announcing an MMA fight and a guy said, hey, introduce me as Tick Tick Boom. And I was like, man, the state fucking commission is here. I'm not, I can't do that.
No Tick Tick Booms, none of that.
Do that, man. And another segue, the acronyms, right? It's not Jack Caglione, because the C is already taken in the Caglione, right? Just as we are AE Wrapup at gmail.com. We are not AEW Wrapup at gmail.com, which is where I guess everybody would have mistakenly sent all the calls that we should have been playing here today.
Well, so, hey, look at that. Shooting star, the more you know. Now, next week, so excited. Right. We're going to get all
so
that
excited.
Shit. So right, excited. Now we got it.
Tick, tick, boom. I was like, dude, get...
Yeah, but that was the whole issue. Now our numbers are going to fucking skyrocket.
Now everyone was
like,
right.
Yeah, and no one was getting like unknown email, because probably some idiots, probably in fucking Canada, because that's where the Spanish announce table fucking idiots
steal
were.
Our gimmick again.
Yeah, and then you were like, well, guess what? What would AEW Wrapup.com? Nuh-uh, fuck you.
AE Wrapup at gmail.com. That's where you can send us any correspondence that we'll play here, read here, etc. Send it to us. We need friends. We want you to join the chat, just like nobody.
Yeah.
We want you to donate.
It's early.
Right? Yeah. Which reminds me, we also have something about donations, Tom. That reminds me, the beer sponsor of the week this week is nobody, because nobody went onto alleatewrapup.com and donated us some money and said, hey, we want to be the beer sponsor of the week. Nobody did that. You should do that just like nobody did this week. Found that in the
I like that. That's a little bit of
it.
Yeah, but that's like a little bit of Inception, right? Like,
no, it's right there. But yeah, there's all kinds of great things you could do at alleatewrapup.com.
Yeah.
You should just do that.
Yeah, other than that, though, got the MRI for the tumor. It shrank another centimeter. So we're down half from when we started this bullshit.
And a centimeter's a lot.
Yeah, and men. It's a lot for all of us. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Don't skimp on a centimeter.
Yeah. And so it is shrunk down half the size that it was when we started. Yeah. I think I might have a tear in my hip, but other than that, no big deal.
Like fighting too hard?
I did a back squat. So I did a back squat, and because of my limitation on my shoulder, I can't do a traditional back squat because I can't get my shoulder here behind my head, right? Okay. So I do what's called the safety bar one, which puts around your neck. You hold it here, you do the squats, right?
Yeah.
And you can get a little bit too overconfident in that bitch, right? Because you're like, fuck this, yeah. And so you'll jump up a little bit higher than maybe you should. And I learned this because then I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do this. Boom, did one. All right, I can do 3. Did the second one. Oh, fuck. Threw it off, fell down on my back. Now, here's the thing. Back kind of hurt for 20 minutes. And I was like, okay, fuck that. I'm good. So then I was like, I'm getting back on there, doing it.
Do it again.
Yeah. And I did it, right? Boom, boom, boom. Did another set. Boom, boom, boom. All right. What the fuck was that? Maybe I had bad footing, whatever it was. The next day, though, in my hip, fucking excruciating pain. And it's difficult for me to stand up. I can't lift here's the weird thing. I can't lift my other foot up without it pulling on my right hip. That's a weird one. Didn't know that was a thing.
It sounds like your alignment is off. Sounds like
go to the auto body shop. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Just get worked out a little bit there, right?
Yeah, which I have been. They did the dry needling. Have you ever done dry needling?
I have not, but my wife has. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it 3 times now, and it goes right into your fucking skin. That feels good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I've wet needled some things, but that's another story.
Yeah.
You're like, do tell. Yeah, we're pausing for this.
Yeah,
no,
pausing
we'll move on. No,
pausing for dramatic effect.
People are waiting. We've got to get to the wrestling. I can't get into that story.
Well, no, bullshit. We got to talk about 2 other things. One, this weekend we're gonna see each other because we're going to tacos and tequila. Yeah. Now, big major gut punch for me. Bone Thugs, which I found out dropped out of the entire fucking thing because they tour to other cities.
Yeah.
So I thought, like, what the fuck you got against Kansas City, right? Because some people like want to hate on us, which
I know. My
just
thought was
jealous.
like, man, maybe somebody died or something, and they got a funeral
No,
or
they
something.
just
You know,
all of it, all of it.
they said, "Fuck this bush league bullshit."
Yeah. So we still got a great lineup. We got Too Short, we got
Yeah,
Nelly, we got B.O.B., we've got Timbaland.
I know,
We
but
got
when
a
I
bunch of
told
good
my wife, she was like, "The fuck? That's why I paid the goddamn VIP tickets." And I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, I know." I was like, "I'm pretty sure that's why Tom would have done it too."
Yeah. Yep. That
She
is
was like,
the
"What the fuck?" And
sole reason.
I was like, "So maybe we just go a little later." You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
midday, maybe something like that. You know what I mean? What it opens early, right? When are you
hmm
going? You not going at the opening? Or are you like there at the very opening?
I like to be there after the local DJ set. You know, the
Yeah,
hey guys, duh, 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 duh,
yeah,
duh. Because I like to
yeah.
get food. They do Lucha Libre wrestling, which tie
Yes.
in, right? I like to look at the cars. I like to get close and look at the little car show because they'll do
Hmm.
low rider competition stuff like that. So I get there pretty early,
Yeah.
but I will also play it by ear. And if I'm like, man, ain't nothing fucking happening there, then I go to Target and I just do a little shopping, get some gum, maybe look at some action figures,
Yeah.
do that kind of
We'll
thing.
work all that out on the
Yeah.
side. We won't bore everybody with our things, but that's going to be awesome. We're going to go to that.
And then on Sunday, we're going to GCW, a bucket list item. I get to check off of my wrestling wish list. I get to see Too Cold Scorpio in person. Huh?
I was
That's
going
gonna
to say, I was like,
fucking
wait a minute, you
rule.
better not say a bucket list thing is GCW because we did that.
Yeah,
in
we've done
Chicago.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, Too Cold Scorpio?
I can't wait. That is going to be
hold the title?
insane.
Is he gonna win?
I hope so. Because Effie kind of pisses me off.
Mm.
He's the heavyweight champion for GCW. I think what Effie is great in pro wrestling and society. Think it's awesome. I would also say in that same breath, sometimes stop being a caricature of a portion of the population that's getting picked on because you're only magnifying what these others think of you.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, one of the spots I legitimately hate of his. Now I don't know if he does it every single match, but every single match I've seen of his, he's done this spot where he will drop to his knees, throw someone into the ropes, drop to his knees, and then it's, oh, I'm gonna suck your dick and stuff. Stop.
Yeah.
I can't. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you. That's a little off. And, far be it from me to tell him what to do, but like,
well, I'm just saying.
I will say it's a critique that I would share with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
yeah,
because also, not.
Well, it's a little rapey for one. And,
Well, it's a little rapey, and it's also gay scare tactic.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all, sex
right, yeah, the
fiends.
gay
stuff.
fear, like, ooh,
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
Now,
Because
if that's
also
in the story or something that you're telling,
something different.
something to do, I guess. Yeah.
But again, I haven't seen it be in a story. It's just something that he does, and I just feel like we can do better, right? Anthony Bowens ain't doing that shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, kind of grow up.
that?
Yeah. Well, he's a 5-tool player. That's what he is.
is.
You know what I mean?
5-inch tool player or whatever that.
But with all that being said, what are you up to? How are you?
We went to Maine this last weekend. It was unfortunately for a funeral, right? But the funeral had happened in the winter, so most folks had made peace with that, right? They can't bury, as we've discussed earlier, they can't bury in the ground in Maine when it's frozen, so they do a service later. And so they did that. And so that was essentially a family reunion. So that was nice, right? Got to see a bunch of folks over there on my wife's side of the family. And then that took up the bulk of our time, man. And then other than that, we're getting prepped. We're getting ready. We're getting excited for this weekend to go go party with Tom out in the wide open baseball stadium there while we rock out to years past.
Yes. Man, I got some good weekends ahead because then the next weekend after that is meeting Sting.
That's right.
By the way, I've got an extra ticket. It's not VIP.
To him on LinkedIn?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. No, I'm not.
Right,
I'll have to check.
You should look. Yeah.
But by the way, I have an extra ticket. Now it's not VIP like me, but if you wanted to go and see the Steiners or Orange Cassidy or Ty Mello or Anna Jay or Kevin Nash, the next weekend, it's Saturday and Sunday. I got the weekend pass for two.
I'll have to check. See what I'm doing.
There you go. Hey, so speaking of all those wrestlers, some of which I named were AEW. And with that, let's talk about Grand Slam. Now, I say a lot of the time, and the granddaddy of them all, tongue in cheek, right? The Cheez-Its Arena and Poughkeepsie, whatever, right? I'm being serious here when I say last night's AEW Grand Slam Mexico took place at the historic Arena Mexico in Mexico City, the granddaddy of them all. That is, you know, if you were to put what would you say, like a Mount Rushmore of wrestling venues,
Yeah.
that's probably on the list, right?
Yeah.
It's like that, Wembley, Madison Square Garden, Tokyo Dome, right?
Yep.
You know, so yeah.
But you're not wrong. I mean, like, yeah, we make the joke granddaddy of them all, but this
Last night
this
was
is it.
yeah.
This is it.
Last night that was legit.
This crowd, I put one time in the Blue Sky, which, by the way, is another way you can get a hold of us. We're on the Blue Sky, right? And I was live skeeting, and one of the things I said was, I want to live in this crowd. This crowd was hype all damn night long.
Yes, loved it. And this was, let's talk about this part before it gets lost in the shuffle that I wanted to make sure that we made note of. This show, I was telling you, Tim, before we hit record, was like, it validated that I'm on the right side of history in pro wrestling, right? While you've got the other side bringing out Ron DeSantis or having their chief creative officer and his wife, the daughter of the former founder of the WWE, taking pictures with RFK Jr., we got motherfuckers over here that, one, respect the culture, which we'll get to in the first segment, and two, I have them up here front and center.
Hell yeah.
Fucking standing up to the bullshit right here. Brody fucking King. If you don't get, or if you're into action figures, make sure you have this one. And if you're just like, maybe I want one, make it this one. This is the motherfucking man.
If you're going to buy one wrestling shirt, get a Brody King shirt.
Yeah,
saying,
it's
right?
fucking
like right now,
awesome.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, he fucking rules. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that on the top end, that this show just made me go like, yep, that fucking rules. This fucking company is going to be on the right side as we move forward. What do you think, though, as a whole?
Same thing. I mean, like, I knew what Arena Mexico is, like, of the culture, but I don't know that I've ever seen, like, a full event, right? I've seen a match here or two or some clips, and this was a very fun experience, kind of seeing this, like, here we go live, start when the crowd's like, I'm ready to fucking stab somebody crazy, right? And this was awesome, and we, of course, the best way to start any AEW Dynamite.
Yes, is with the motherfucking man. Brody King's the man. Hangman is also the man, but even more so in the kayfabe world of pro wrestling. But Hangman Adam Page comes out and sent me for a left turn. And another great thing, like, fucking awesome. Hangman comes out and he does 6 minutes. Would you say 6 minutes of a promo straight in Spanish?
Yeah. I've got a treat for you, Tom, here, too. I've got it pulled up what he said in English so we can go over that, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, give it to us.
You want me to do that now? All right.
Yeah.
So, first of all, before I get into the English translation, he started off with, Mi nombre es Hangman, and I was like, we need that shirt, right? Like, I'm buying that shirt tomorrow if you get that out, right? Anyway, it says, hi, my name is Hangman, and I want to apologize for my Spanish because it's not the best, but it's a little better than many gringos, so I will try. By the way, this is on nodq.com, so I want to give them their plug.
Yep.
And if it's wrong, just
send
all your hate mail to them. When I was young, my family had a tobacco farm, and every summer, like 6 men would come from Ruiz, Nayarit, nailed it, to work, right? And he said their names. Every year I worked with them, and they taught me about Mexico. They were hard workers, honest, and cared for their families. They taught me that we are all better when we work together. This is why I want to say thank you. Thank you for having us in your house tonight. Thanks for this collaboration between AEW and CMLL, because when we work together, we can change the world. Now, I will talk about our champion, Jon Moxley. I'm sorry to say that I don't have a match tonight, and I'm not allowed to be in the arena during his match, but nobody said anything about after the match. So after all that, I will beat his ass. Until then, thank you to everyone here in Arena Mexico, and I'll see you soon. And there's so much to unpack here with how great Hangman is, isn't there?
Well, and also, again, not to harp on the AEW company, but another great thing was we didn't get dubbed over translation while he spoke to the crowd. Hear the fucking Spanish. Again, I don't know Spanish. Even in high school, I took French because that's where all the pretty girls were. But
Yep.
so I don't know anything about Spanish.
But shout out to
language.
Excalibur for the
Yeah,
life,
because he was trying.
He was doing his best to get it in there, right? Like he had to
Yeah.
kind of give you the quips and give you the stuff, and that made it easier. I have taken 13 credit hours of Spanish in college, Tom, and so like occasionally, like I can kind of be like, they're talking about this, right? If I hear people speaking Spanish, right? I don't know every word, right? But I can kind of gather sometimes what's being talked about. And so I kind of was following along a little bit, and it was helpful that Excalibur there was really filling in the gaps. Until, of course, he got to the, well, I can't repeat that part when he talked about beating his ass, right? That was fun.
Well, and also, if memory serves me correct, he Excalibur introduced the show in Spanish.
Yeah,
when
he did the
said,
whole "It's Wednesday," and you know what that means. We did all
yeah.
that in Spanish. That was awesome. Yeah, Excalibur.
Excalibur, good dude.
I know it's a weird look for people outside, right, who don't watch wrestling or like haven't watched wrestling in a while, or maybe coming over from WWE to just see like guy in a mask doing commentary, right? Like, I understand that. I understand that, but like he is one of the best, right? Like I mean, this guy is really fucking good.
I think he's awesome. I think, maybe his calling card is how he can run down 76 matches in 15 seconds right before a break. And that is awesome. But I just think he's a legitimately good
I think he's
wrestling
always
announcer.
got a grasp on what's going on, right? He's never stumbling. He's not doing the what a maneuver kind of thing, right? Like,
Right.
He always knows what these things are. But he also knows how to like get in on the storyline conversations that the other two generally are trying to sprinkle in. He's also very quick-witted, right? And like knows how to fuck with them and like
with Taz.
Isn't that it? Like also
he
just
fucks
kinda,
with Taz.
Yeah, he fucks
you know
with
what
Taz.
I mean? Like that's the best part. Yeah.
And he just is kind of like is and respects the culture, right? Kind of like what we've said overall of like what wrestling is, right?
Because I think I may have read this, but I think they said Taz couldn't be, or thoughts with Taz. He couldn't be here tonight. Nothing's wrong. We just want to make sure that our thoughts are with Taz. Like they were just giving him shit because he couldn't make the show. I thought that was fun too. Okay, so now let's talk about the Hangman part here. I found it interesting, the end where he's like, don't have a match, which is, fine. Not everyone can be booked. But now all of a sudden, I can't be in the arena when this match has. Because Jon Moxley has been killing people. Let's not forget what they tried to do to Orange Cassidy. We never banned him. But now, because Hangman just will burn your house down,
that's what it is. Jon Moxley's a bitch, so he whined and complained until Tony Khan was like, all right, Hangman, just don't.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. I thought this was a great way to start. Like I said, there were so many cool details. No dubbing over, no bottom third, closed caption on it. You just heard it, and then it was on you, if you thought it was interesting, to go find it out, right? So I think, or if obviously you know Spanish, then you can just translate it yourself. So I thought that was a great way to kick it off. Also, I like action figures. Anyone who's listened long enough knows that. That outfit, pretty cool. I want that kind of that gear that he was in. I like that. That was pretty dope. Yeah. All right. So now let's get into some in-ring action. One thing, Tim, I wanted to note, as I was kind of looking through the card, just to be like, hey, okay, well, no backstage segments. None.
No, this was all
no interview from Renee, no nothing. So I thought that was interesting. Kind of felt like a pay-per-view that they do, know? All right. Yep. I'm going to attempt this, and I'm going to fuck up.
Yeah, no, you're going to nail it.
Nope, I'm not. So it was a 14-man tag team match. You had Dax Harwood.
Yep.
Yeah, nailed it.
Not Cash. Which wonder what that
Not Cash. Well, the gun thing, I think, right?
Yeah, but he just got cleared in May.
Yeah, but isn't
maybe that wasn't
maybe
enough to get all the documentation?
Right, all that's the only thing I thought of is, or maybe he has something we have never heard of that was like, when he was 19. Yeah, when he was on 19 years old.
That's why they only did Collision, because he could drive to the venue.
Yeah. So we got Dax Harwood, Valdor Jr., the Don Callis family of Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Lance Archer, Josh Alexander, and Hechicero versus Hechicero. Cool, yeah.
Love that guy.
Yeah, I want to talk about him because there's some interesting notes here. Okay, versus Adam Cole, Brody fucking King,
Adam Cole,
Bandito,
baby.
yeah, Bandito, Danny
Which
Garcia.
is Spanish for bandit.
Look, Rosetta Stone.
You taught me
know what I
that.
mean? Yes. Hey. Anyone who's listening to this podcast can tell you three things. One, I taught him what the Spanish word for bandit is. It's bandito.
Yep.
Two, Tim is friends with Jeff Jarrett on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And three, I always do way better unless I want to do a bit of charity on our picks. So, also in the match. I have the most beautiful picks.
I'm the best.
The most beautiful.
You should say thank you.
Yeah. I saw that Kim Jong-un, I think is how you say it, the dictator over there in North Korea. He wrote an autobiography, and he said the first time he ever played golf, he had 11 holes in one. Why would you say? No one fucking believes it. Like,
over there, they
yeah,
believe
but
it.
like 38 under par. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Okay, anyhow, so we also got Danny Garcia, Atlas Jr., and then this is where I'm
Templario.
So,
boy,
14 man. What'd you think?
The theme of this match was, though they were the faces, this crowd does not like Atlantis Jr. Holy shit.
I read about it.
Yeah.
I read about this. Do you want to know why?
Well, I think I read it too, but why don't you share it with the folks?
So apparently Atlas is one of those OG,
Atlantis,
excuse me, Atlantis.
Yep.
Yeah, Atlantis,
one
of those.
He's the guy, right? We love him. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those like dates back to the 80s, right? The like, not to say
Jake the Snake.
Or Ric Flair, right? Like again, not with the baggage.
Go, obviously, yeah, right.
Yeah. Not with the baggage, but a Ric Flair like in Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Now his son, Atlantis Jr., they don't like the nepotism. They said, fuck this shit. And apparently he has taken the mask of many legends too early in his career. And so they're like, no. Essentially what this one commenter that I read said is, think of it as this Nepo baby beat The Undertaker 4 consecutive times at WrestleMania when Undertaker was undefeated going into their first match. So yeah, they hate the motherfuckers for that. And I guess it's kind of like the rite of passage. Even if you might secret time, I kind of like these two. Fuck it, you have to boo.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah, it's like, no, you don't deserve this, and I have to let them know. Yeah, which was, it was prominent that every tag, every like point to this kid was just thunderous boos, Vicky Guerrero level heat.
Yeah, and on the other side, Hechicero, loud cheers.
Yeah, Hechicero, man, because he's cool as fuck.
Hechicero.
Hey, we got Brody King doing a fucking Hurricane Rana in this motherfucker.
Frankenstein.
He's the best.
Yeah. I love that Scott Steiner.
It's the way that
but Scott Steiner, and credit to him, he did create the fucking move. So I do like, he's like, don't fucking say that to me. You might want to say that to Rey Mysterio, but you ain't saying it to me, motherfucker. I do like that. Respect him for at least that part. But it did seem that everyone else, though, the crowd was like, no, we'll play along, right? So we'll cheer Adam Cole, like you said, Adam Cole, baby. We'll boo Lance Archer and all that kind of stuff.
Folks get booed. Yeah. Lance Archer also did awesome this when he was making fun of Daniel Garcia and dancing and shit.
Yeah. They kind of popped a little bit for Daniel Garcia when he did his little thing, that so yeah. So again, we get craziness, right?
Wrestle.
Yeah, the major of wrestles, right?
All on the outside.
Yeah, so how do we end up here? We get Atlantis.
Atlantis Jr. He gets the fucking
No. I think it's Old Man. I think it's Old Man.
Okay, all right.
Atlantis gets he gets small package, but his small package has a bigger package than Dax Harwood. Got him. And then Dax Harwood, I guess, punt kicked this motherfucker and then ran off.
Yeah, which is what he does.
Yeah.
Big Stoke. He had a great
what did he say at the start of this? He's like, by the way, I just thought of this. And I didn't catch it. What was it? Like he said, like this is 1/3 of of FTR and we're named. So anyhow, if you know it, right in the chat.
Line exactly. Yeah. I just remember him getting good heat.
Yeah. I would have preferred, to be honest with you though, that Big Stoke did that to Atlantis, right?
Yeah,
Like
right. You
he
get
gets
kick
the
in.
victory. He gets in, fuck you, bitch,
So
and then
like,
runs off.
I do remember online seeing because we were fresh off of Hangman doing his whole promo
Mm-hmm.
in Spanish, and then we get Big Stoke, and they were like, "Ah, boo, Stokely speaking in English. God damn it,
Yeah.
you asshole."
You dick. Why would you do that? Well, and you know what? Good timing, because if anyone had to do it first, you want to make sure it's a heel.
Yeah,
And it was either him or Don Callis. That's probably the two ones that you want to have that are doing that shit. So
yep.
yeah, again, fun, 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 fun. I don't think though, tell me how you feel. I don't think though that we're coming out of this with therefore. We talked about the writing beats of how you should
Mm-hmm.
write scripts and things of that nature. It was more just like and then and now we're gonna get so I guess how are we pairing these guys off? Adam Cole, Kyle Fletcher? Does that feel like what we're doing next with
Yeah, I
them?
think we discussed. Yeah, Kyle Fletcher's gonna get this title, right? He needs something to kind of keep flexing the like. Look
Mm-hmm.
at the next up and comer, modern day Randy Orton, right, if you will, right? The
Mm-hmm.
coming in like looks like $1 million, fucking kid, right? We need to push that, I think, and beating Adam Cole would be a great way to do that. So and that'll tie
Yeah.
up Don Callis' family and this fucking group,
Yeah,
undisputed
because
Paragon, whatever.
Yeah, because this is what I would do looking at the 14 men, and I'll just stick to the AEW side because I'm not going to
Mm.
speak to the Atlantis Jr. and those individuals. I would say you would do Adam Cole, Kyle Fletcher. I would say you would do a tag team of Garcia and Brody King versus, no, you know what? I would do Daniel Garcia, Takeshita, because Takeshita's a big name. He needs something to do. And then Bandito and Hechicero, and then Lance Archer, Josh Alexander. I would have them go after Brody King to then get Buddy Matthews. Hey, motherfuckers, don't pick on my buddy, or don't pick on my friend. It'd be funny if it was in role reversal, but don't pick on my friend. I'm his buddy.
We get the
And
Hounds of
then
Hell back going again.
yeah, right. Because also Lance Archer and and Josh Alexander need to do something, right? Like they don't want to just waste them kind of sitting around. So
I just feel like we got Josh Alexander to ride the bench, right? Like it just
a little bit. It feels like, yeah, I'll sign the contract now. Oh, we were really looking for the fall, but
yeah, yeah.
since we're paying you, let's have you just sit here
Dawn,
for
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
sit here for a second. Um,
TNA. Oh, Dawn then. When are you going to hang on to
yeah.
You know what?
Well,
They could do Daniel Garcia and like the FTR can keep picking on him, and then that's when Edge comes to save the day, and then Daniel Garcia and Stokely kind of fall off of that, and then we get the turn of Christian maybe.
Yeah, dude, that's great. Keep them picking on Garcia. Magic Man comes up. I got his back.
Gets
No,
his
he
ass
doesn't.
beat. Yeah,
He gets his ass beat.
yeah. Murder.
That's
like
when
nasty
Copeland
beat. Yeah.
Copeland comes in. Garcia, you had my back way back in the day when we were going after TNT Championship. I got yours now, right? That's then when Magic Man turns on Garcia, takes him out. Adam Copeland's like, what the fuck happened here? What is? And then
now I need a friend.
Christian's like, well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
You're a cunt, but those two we both know are bigger cunts than you. Because
you don't even really have to turn him, do you? You can just still have him be.
Well, because
I think we would turn him during this process, but like, he doesn't have to be face at start for this to pair up. They can just be like, he can be like, you need help, and I don't like those motherfuckers, right? Like, just like you don't like them.
Well, because that could be the angle he could take. Is the thing that I think we're not telling enough of is Copeland and FTR are the best of friends, but so is Christian, right? Christian might be like the less of the four. Like if you put them all four together, he's probably like, oh, I wasn't there for this one, but they're all connected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Dax probably calls Christian and was like, hey, how's things going? Right. So if you just said, Christian goes, Copeland, I've always told you that these motherfuckers sucked and you never believed me because you're a fucking idiot.
You can play it where Christian was like, he could reveal. He's like, he was fucking jealous the whole time. Like, why were you hanging out with them, nerds? He's like, look what they did to you. Look what they did to you, right? And then like, he could be like, you did all those kind of shit to me too. And he'd be like, yeah, but that was then, right? Like,
but I was trying. That was tough love. Obviously, you know that
we
was
were
tough
brothers,
love.
man. Yeah.
You never did that to a brother, you know?
Come on. Those guys are your brother. I'm your brother. I could do that to you. They can't.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That would be the angle you should take.
God damn it, Tony.
I like.
Man, I'm gonna talk to Jeff on LinkedIn about this. I'm gonna send him this clip.
I love it.
That's gonna be from now on. Whenever we got a good idea, I'm sending these clips on the LinkedIn to Jeff. Wonder what the megabyte limits are.
Oh, I know. Okay, if you could, I visualize what we could use. You know, because you put the clips in sometimes, like when you say Willow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have like the message being sent to Jeff's like LinkedIn photo. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, we'll send it to Jeff.
Yeah, we'll send it to Jeff.
Okay, let's keep it going. All right. Next up, we get Don Callis again. This time, he's walking out with Okada because Okada is taking on Mark Briscoe. Now, help me out here. Mark Briscoe says, hey, Kenny, they beat you up. I'll help you out, pal, and I'll beat up Okada. Is that correct?
That's kind of what he was saying, yeah. It's a close friend, he says, right?
What?
Yeah, we were never told that, but all right.
Well, I get, at least we've been exposed to one aspect of it because it was Mark Briscoe that helped out at Anarchy in the Arena, right? He was the one that jumped out, right? But yeah, I never was like, now listen, you know who Mark Briscoe's best friend is? Kenny Omega.
We've been elevating Mark Briscoe in these matches, right? He's getting more singular focus against bigger names. And I'm not against that, right? Mark Briscoe's good. I do think he suffers a little bit from the overacting, right? He's got the Ernest P. Worrell facial expressions, right? That makes it a little hard to take him seriously. Yeah. So I'm worried there's a ceiling there if he doesn't dial that back a little bit. I've seen online that R-Truth is doing something like this where he's a little more like, take me serious, motherfucker, right? Like, put some respect on my name because he's back there now. I could be wrong. I saw a clip of that, I think. So if that's working out well, like, do that, right? Like, let's make him be like, all right, you know what I mean? Because you can still sell all the same gimmick, man. You're a fucking chicken farmer, right? You bust your ass. I like the one in the promo where he was like, I'm just out here shoveling chicken shit, which is what I'll be doing the next day, just like the other day. And then he was like, except for Wednesdays, that's the day I get on a flight to my other job, which is whooping people's ass. Like, I was like, yes, more of that, right?
Yeah, because I think we've kind of said that Mark Briscoe would be great as a loose cannon thing. But to your point, it feels a little bit, you know what? Actually, let's go over to the other show. It kind of feels like Mark Briscoe is the Michael Jordan of Dean Ambrose's. You get what I'm saying? Like, you get what? Yeah. He's the.
It's like, no, everybody understands this.
Yeah, of course. He's the best version of what Dean Ambrose was trying to be, which is still not great because they're not doing the he brings down
what
the
you're saying now.
Yeah, he doesn't bring down
he does Dean Ambrose better than John Moxley did.
Right,
Dean
he's
Ambrose,
the Michael Jordan of
Dean Ambrose. If we need episode titles
because like he's not doing the bring down the hot dog cart or like the show that I was at
hiding in boxes, which
I've got to get a shot because the crowd here stinks so bad. They did that in Kansas City, and I was like,
fucking
the gas mask, but they are still doing like again the old Dean Ambrose stuff where it's like, man, that ain't it.
So I was skeeting last night on the Blue Sky. It's normally you, but I was doing it last night. And the least interacted skeet was the one I was the most proud of, where I said, time to throw them shoulders back. John Moxley's in the house. And nobody else seemed to.
Yeah.
It's like, all right,
they need to listen to more clips. That's what it is. Listen to more clips. Like, yeah. Look at this. There it is. So, it's Mark Briscoe, Okada with Don Callis.
Mm-hmm.
And
this match was good though. I mean, like,
right,
again,
but what we didn't get, I don't feel, or maybe I didn't hear any more of like Don Callis saying, guess what, motherfuckers? The main reason is because Kenny Omega has always been jealous of Okada and I'm going to help him, you know, like it's
it's
still
a weird
just
pairing. And I don't think we need it. Like, I don't think we ever needed it.
One other thing to note with that came to my mind too is, you know, you read back the 14-man tag team, which was the Don Callis family. Well, you know who's not out there with Don Callis? Okada. Now I get it. He has a match, you know, but we've seen that many of times where like I'm next up, so I'll just come out with my guys kind of thing.
This is what I'm saying. They're really blurring the Don Callis family lines because I'm still not sure Hechicero is in the Don Callis family. I don't think he is, right? But yet he was there, and now we've got Okada. He's definitely not in the Don Callis family, but Callis will work with him, which again is, you know, is human, right? But like, we could explain it a little better, I think.
That's what I'm saying. If I just hear in a promo or whatever it is, because I imagine he was on commentary. I can't remember right now if he was or not, but I just saying like, here's the reason why Omega fucking hates Okada. The one thing he'll lose to Ospreay. He'll lose to Kyle Fletcher. He doesn't care.
Anytime I see a moment to twist that knife into Kenny Omega, I take it.
But like Omega's biggest thing, again, he'll lose to the Young Bucks or whatever it is. But the one thing he will go to his grave doing is not losing to Okada. Yeah. So fuck him. Right? And then, okay, we got something there. But
or even if like he could just say like Okada came to me saying, I want to find that next level thing that will distract Kenny Omega like nothing else. Mm-hmm. And he knows that it's me. And boy, what's your line there? You play that song, I'm gonna fucking dance.
Oh yeah, you play that music, I'm gonna dance. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yeah, that's where something like that. That's what I was hoping for, but it didn't happen. But we did get, like you said, a really good match here. Briscoe, Okada. One thing that I keep forgetting about is like in my AEW brain, these two have never fought each other, right? Okada's always been New Japan, way over here, and Mark Briscoe's been Ring of Honor. But Okada has not lengthy, but he has some history in Ring of Honor. So they've also obviously wrestled before in the past. So yeah, it makes a little sense of like, hey, yeah, of course this match was going to be good. Because when I saw it, I was like, oh, is this going to be one-way traffic where like Okada just, you know, dances on Mark Briscoe's head and then pins him? But it was a little bit more than that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought the match was really good. And again, my takeaway was kind of what we already talked about. I was like, man, this Mark Briscoe thing could work if we made a few tweaks. But the Okada stuff did leave me just perplexed on kind of, man, why is Don Callis here? Like, I know why Don Callis is here loosely, but like, man, aren't you busy? Like, aren't you all about Kyle Fletcher right now?
Well, and also Takeshita's cool with this because I remember that Takeshita's from DDT and Okada's from New Japan, and apparently those two promotions don't really love each other. And so, like,
it's on site, motherfucker.
Yeah, right. I guess not.
Like, I don't. Yeah.
Going back to Mark Briscoe, one other thought I had is, you know, to kind of change it up but still keep it authentic. I would give him, if I were to coach Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe came to me, he's like, hey, I love to do the like silly stuff, but now they're asking me to be more serious. But like, besides just talking about being a chicken farmer, what could I do? I would make just a highlight mixtape of Nick Gage and be like, do this, right? Don't kill people. Don't make the offense.
Yeah, right.
Fucking pizza cutters and all that shit. But when Nick Gage,
intensity of it,
when he walks out and they all fucking swarm him, no one's pushing him because we all fucking know he could hurt me. Like,
right, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
like, probably.
Right. So like we'd always, because like the entrance in Chicago when we were jumping around, I was making sure to push other people. If he was coming by me, I was pushing this way, right? Hey,
get off of Nick Gage. That's what's happening. Is everybody's like, you get off fucking Nick Gage.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like if I got close, I'd like dive away like it was a bomb. I'm like, no. And so
that's what I mean. You got to part the ways for Nick Gage. You're holding the crew back, is what you're doing at that point.
I'll punch you in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
No one fucks with him, please.
Bow down.
Yeah. Very scary if he gets pissed off. Yeah, I would say Mark Briscoe would do a little bit of the Nick Gage intensity where it's like, because they're same character, right? If you think of it in your head as far as like badasses, you know what I'm saying? It's just one is goofy.
No, but I think you could sell that. You could sell that kind of like, I'm here for the downtrodden, right? I'm here for the, you know what I mean? Those who are looked down upon, right? You're my, you know what I mean? We're all here. We're all in this. This is for you, right? Like, and just kind of, yeah,
that's what I would do.
The societal outcast, right? Like I'm the hero of that,
right?
Mark Briscoe. Yeah, get a little more mean, a little more intense, a little less fucking Kung Fu Panda, right? And let's
that side eye. You know what I mean? When someone like gives you this, like that, a little more of that.
Yeah, a little more. Now, think Kurt Angle's twist on this, right?
Wrestling machine. Obviously, he's not Olympic gold medalist.
Just that kind of like that confidence in yourself to like, okay, I can kill you. You know, to this, right? Like, I can murder you. I'm not here to wrestle. I'm here to win fucking money. And you know what I mean? Like you don't fuck with my money.
So post match, Okada and his new whatever Don Callis beat up Mark Briscoe again. This is where. Again, I don't like and then he beats up Mark Briscoe. No one's there to help out Mark Briscoe. Later in the night, we see Speedball and Kevin Knight. So they were there. Just LOL. Fuck those guys.
Like the conglomeration folks aren't always like, I'm trying to remember who all was in that. I guess maybe none of them are hanging around. But like, again, didn't he have friends?
Kevin Knight and Speedball.
Loved?
Yeah, Knight and Speedball are his guys apparently, but not anymore. Maybe not. I don't know. Again, just you're beating them up.
Maybe they were outside scoring a speedball.
Maybe. Because if you kick him, right? If you just kick Mark Briscoe after you win, right? You stand up, he's on all fours, you kick him in the gut.
Help.
Right, that's fine.
That's bullshit. We'll get those guys next time.
Yeah, but if you're hitting them with a title belt and all that stuff,
I'll go save you. Yeah.
What the fuck? All right. Like I said, there was no backstage segments, so we're keeping it all in the ring. And another amazing moment from last night's AEW Dynamite event. We had MJF versus Mystico. And I saw this online and I wanted to say it on the podcast. But, last week we even talked about this. We could be told that Mystico is a big star. Okay. You tell me he's a big star. Sure. I watch AEW. I don't watch CMLL. Yeah. So sure.
He's a big star. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Ooh, big star. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But then the way he comes out, I said this again before we started recording, so I'll say it again. But the way the announcers got the fuck out of the way.
Yep.
They're just, I think Tony Schiavone even was like, listen to him. And then just, they all stopped talking, right?
I haven't heard a crowd that loud, that sustained for a while.
Yeah.
Since like the Punk debut in AEW. You know what I mean? Like it was like loud.
It made me think a little bit of, now this was more spontaneous because I feel like, again, I don't know. It feels like Mystico, when he does come out, they do this probably every time, But do you recall when Adam Copeland came out, I think in Australia, and the crowd kept singing a song organically? Yeah. It felt something similar to that.
That's true. Yeah, it did have more of that vibe. Yes.
Yeah, but again, it was louder. I would say last night was louder than Copeland. Not trying to say one thing or the other.
So MJF, he came out first. Yeah.
Yes.
And he did the American. He didn't overdo it, right? He was holding he was overdone, but we've seen him do way more, right?
Right.
When he was doing that gimmick before, but. Fine, right? And the Hurt Syndicate's there ready to help beat his ass. I like that they weren't all gimmicked up in a minute. They're still cool and smooth, right? But yeah, then the Mystico thing just set me back. I was like, oh God, I see it. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Is a star.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. Like this, not to say, I will say it. WWE kind of, WWE soured me on him.
Yeah.
But that's again, the mind fucking suck that WWE does
They
to
didn't
people.
know how to replicate that and how to capture that here.
Well, and also they just threw him through the meat grinder and said, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yep. Yeah, you're
And
wrestling one half of the Viking experience tonight. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, what? You know, this guy's a fucking, yeah. All right.
Well, and Del Rio was the one that like got rewarded because he was a fucking asshole because Mystico legit got hurt, but fuck you, it wasn't the brain,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna fucking punch you more. Like, you dumb fucks. God, we are on the right side of history. So one thing about this match that I thought was interesting was MVP again. So MJF is doing his MJF shit, right? He body slams, goes to the corner, flips off the crowd, you know, up yours, all that stuff, right? But every single time you would see MVP going, you not saying dumb fuck, but like, hey,
Yeah.
pay attention.
Well, and they even had Excalibur mention it. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is part of the storyline here.
Yeah. Again, that, not to say he's like the godfather of the group. And I don't mean that in like the WWE guy. I'm talking like mafia kind of guy, godfather. But he has to keep reining in this wild card.
Here's the talk that he has to have. He says, hey, man, we signed you up to do business. You didn't arrive when you got signed here, right? There wasn't time to like, you didn't make it and like, you know, let your guard down. You're here to do business. You better fucking focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or you might get fired in this bitch.
And also, like, we're not always here to clean up your mess. This isn't
Right, that's what I'm saying.
a
Like,
one-way
yeah.
street. This is you
We
gotta.
are not your lackeys here.
Yeah.
We are
Because
here to
it
do
kind of
business.
looked like it, right?
Yeah.
Go back to that Mystico entrance. Credit to them also. The Hurt Syndicate, they also kind of got out of the way. You know what I mean? But it was MJF sitting on top of the top corner, and then the three of them just like shielding them.
Human shield. Yep.
Like security guards.
Yeah.
You know? And so, yeah, interesting. Now,
if he did that for every member of the Hurt Syndicate, right? The other three were
Right.
here, then great, right? But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It does come off as he's the guy.
That's
now,
a
if they
great
write that
point.
in as like, that's what I think he was telling him, like, we're here to do business, do your fucking job. You know what I mean? Like, stop playing around.
that would be interesting if Shelton Benjamin has a one-on-one match with Speedball, for example.
Yeah.
If the three of them,
Yep.
MJF then moves into
One
that
person
spot,
sits up in the corner, and then
Yeah.
the three standing there like,
that would be
like,
kind of cool.
we'll allow you to wrestle here when we decide to get the fuck out of the way.
I mean, that would be a cool like thing because you know if they ever remade a video game again, like having that as part of their entrance, right? Like whoever it is,
Yep.
the other three will do that. Or if it's a tag match, then there's two, you know, because it's always going to be MVP and someone else. So yeah, that would be a cool little thing. But in this match, we get the fun shit, right? We get the, I don't know what the move is called, but he did this to Hangman as well. But the, you know, Mystico is kind of sitting up and MJF comes off the corner and then just puts his dick in his face and knocks him over that way. I don't know what that move is called.
I don't know.
But that's fun.
The
And like I said, yeah. And he's also, like I said, going to the corner, flipping you off. He does great at the keeping you interested.
Yeah. He's a
Side
very
note.
traditional, like in the ring heel, right? Like,
Well,
he's like, oh,
yeah.
and I fucking poked you in the ass, and yeah, like he knows
Yeah.
how to.
And side note, I was watching because AEW, I don't know if you paid attention on YouTube to their YouTube channel, but they've been releasing matches now without commentary. So it's just the audience noise.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just that. And I was watching, remember the Four Pillars title match when it was Sammy Guevara, Darby, Jungle Boy, MJF?
Yep.
MJF so many fucking times was like, what the fuck is this? And like he would take a move
I
or
do
like,
remember that. Yeah.
you know, he would get almost a body slam on him.
He'd be
And
like,
he's
no,
like,
no.
"What?" Yeah.
Yeah. He's the
And it's
best.
just like, because
Yeah.
that keeps you interested, right? If I'm,
Yeah.
as we know, most people are in their phone wanting
Right.
to talk to others about what they're watching.
We're all skeeting.
Yeah, all skeet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I came around a little bit,
Come
but not all
around.
the
You're
way.
right.
Yeah. But if you hear someone say something, you look up, right? Like, again, I don't know how
Yeah.
other people do it, but I look down at my phone when I type. I'm not this fucking
Yeah,
talented
exactly,
where I'm
yeah.
like, so yeah, I think that's interesting that he can like that. More people need to do it. Kevin Owens back in the day would do that all the time too. Remember?
Oh yeah, he's real good at that. Well, yeah, simple things will be like, watch this, and they'll fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shove a fucking guy out the rope.
I remember when him and Jericho finally like formed their tag team. They went up against, to date how long ago this was, Enzo and Cass.
Oh yeah, this was a long time ago.
And Kevin Owens was kicking Enzo just in the corner and was just like, I hate you. It's just like, you never heard that, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
he's
just
really good at that too. You're right. Like
Yeah.
in the match, in the ring, like just like act like, again, being a vocal combative, right?
Yeah.
Or combatant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which happens in MMA. You got guys that do that, right? They talk
Oh,
shit
all
while
the
they're
time.
fucking,
Yeah. And basketball and
Yes.
football and baseball. Like, yeah. Yeah. So I think let's get to the end here. The crazy part is, well, I guess the finish is low blow, DQ. MJF loses, but doesn't really. And so we'll talk about that. Let's put a pin in that real quick. But it ends with the Hurt Syndicate kicking the shit out of Mystico. And then MJF takes his fucking mask, which Excalibur said no one's done, apparently.
Oh, shit.
And so, God, and then puts it on. That was the other part.
Yeah.
What's the fucking thing on?
Yeah,
Like, what do you
that's
think
the
of
best.
that?
And wore that for the rest of the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
even as he's like getting beat up and as they're leaving, like, never took that shit off.
Yeah.
Interesting. It fits. I mean, he's probably the biggest heel you could have had there to do that to Mystico, right? I kind of feel like I've seen this a lot lately. There's been a lot of mask ripping off, right? In AEW.
Especially in AEW. I always just go back to Penta. It felt like every match he had with an EVP, whether it was Matt or Nick Jackson, his fucking mask got ripped off.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, that's the thing. You're trying to hide your identity, so why wouldn't I? Right? Like,
Yeah.
trying to be like, fuck you.
But
You know
also,
what I mean?
are you this bad at it? Like, you know what the other fucking person's doing, you know? Tie that shit around your, like, chin, you know? So it's, like, it's harder
You
to
gotta get
fucking
somebody
rip
that's
off.
got the mask under the mask, right? Like,
Yeah.
rip it off. And like,
Ha-ha.
fuck you.
Yeah.
And then nut punch. And
Yeah. So I think this is so okay. Sorry. Mystico, then vulnerable, goes out of the ring. A group of Bandito, Tinton? I don't know how to say his name. And then
I forget who.
Templaro. Yeah,
Templaro.
Templaro.
Yeah.
Tinton and Bandito run out. And then that also brings out Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. I think we're doing something here because it's Texas.
Man, this teaming of Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey, I get they might be friends or something, but like, this doesn't feel like a tag team to me. I don't know.
Well, it feels like Kevin Knight has a little nerdy friend that he just needs to keep eyes on, because if he doesn't, he'll get shoved in a locker. Doesn't Kevin Knight seem like the coolest of the fucking, of the two?
That's what I mean. Like, I would get, like, boy, we talked about Daniel Garcia getting in that trap of being nerd adjacent.
Yes. Yeah.
In fact,
Same
I think you
thing
said
here.
team him up. Kevin Knight and Daniel Garcia. That would be better.
Yes. Yeah. 1,000% better. But I think what we're doing here is we've got our next pay-per-view. It's a big one in Texas.
Oh, God, it's going to be 6 hours long, isn't it?
Well, yep, definitely. But I think we're going to do, my guess is Speedball, Kevin Knight, and Mystico versus the Hurt Syndicate. That makes me a little bit upset in this regard. Very similar to how we're doing Mercedes Moné versus Tony Storm. Two of our don't you want this title isn't being defended at the biggest show.
Yeah, you're right.
The tag team titles, LOL.
Not defended, yep.
And then
TBS
the TBS
title,
channel,
yep.
LOL. Like, that's where they don't have it on them. You know what I mean? That's
but yet we're still going to fill 6 hours of fucking matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Because what do we got? We only got a couple weeks, right? Like 2 or 3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, something.
Because if it's going to be a 6-man tag, which again, I'm just theorizing. I have no info, or Dave Meltzer isn't calling me, telling me anything. Um,
Not
I would
anymore.
just not anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
I told him to fuck off. Oh, Babel's the third man. Fucking
Like,
shut
why
up.
don't you
And
go
I
connect
hung
with
up
Jeff
on him.
Jarrett on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
That's a great insult.
Yeah. Why don't you leave me alone? Just go connect with Jeff Jarrett on LinkedIn and chat with him on that.
Hey, okay, got a friend.
Hi.
Hey,
Yeah.
you ever heard of Global Force Gold? God damn it. On here too?
Yeah. Listen, I got this great venture for you.
Yeah. Motherfucker.
Now, I'm not selling you the gold. I'm selling you stock in the company.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're gonna do the 6-man tag, because I don't know, unless it's just gonna be MJF versus Mystico, because that could also be the case. But then what are the Hurt Syndicate guys gonna do, right? You're not gonna pay Bobby Lashley all this fucking money for then the biggest show of the year to have him
Maybe you are.
stare at fucking MJF.
Maybe you
I
are.
don't know. Who would you have him if you had to shotgun something right now? Who would you put the Hurt Syndicate tag titles on the line against?
Man, I would do the Outrunners again and find a way to whip that up somehow. You could get that up in a couple of weeks.
Outrunners
would
would
backstage.
be, yeah, Outrunners would be perfect. I would do on the kickoff show, because if you wanted to say the story is going to be centered around MJF is the wild card in the Hurt Syndicate, you could do a kickoff show with the Hurt Syndicate defending their tag titles against the Von Erich kids.
Yeah.
Sons of Texas kind of thing, but real Sons of Texas. Not to say Sammy and Dustin aren't, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's Texas wrestling when you say Von Erich. Do those guys versus the Hurt Syndicate. That would get some YouTube numbers and then get to your fun story later in the night. That's what I would do.
Wrong.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Like, what's new?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Sun comes out in July. Thomas is always right. I know. All right. So Mystico gets the mask back on. Like you said, they beat up Hurt Syndicate.
They brought another mask for him because MJF was still wearing his mask.
Yeah. Not taking this off. Yeah. And then we move on to the 4 million pesos high flying 4-way match, which 4 million pesos is probably like $10 million in the American dollar because our shit is tanking.
Well, they said it was about $200,000. When it was a little more than $200,000.
Give it a couple weeks. I bet it won't be after that. Might be flipping. But we get Ricochet versus Hologram versus Leo Rush versus Mascara Dorada.
Yes.
And what'd you think of it?
Right? Isn't that what Theo told us last week? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
The best moment of this match is when they asked Tony Schiavone what he would do with 4 million pesos, and he said buy a bunch of baseball cards and about 5 more dogs. And I was just like, Tony, that's the best fucking answer you could have.
Hell yeah. He does collect baseball cards. I mean, he called baseball for so long. I bet you his collection fucking rules.
Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of them.
Because if you think like that's not a new hobby, you know what I mean? There've been baseball cards since the 1900s. Yeah. That'd be fun. Okay, so we get Ricochet, we get Hologram, we get Leo Rush, we get Dorada. Now, you theorized Leo Rush might be joining this Ricochet.
Maybe not now, right? Because they got into it here. Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
I thought that was fun, though, the way he did it when they were just like, they're teaming up. And then he was like, and he rubs his head. He's like, no. Hey, man, don't fucking do that. Like, they go back, he's like, no, don't fucking do that. And he's like, what, I'll fucking do it again? Love Leo Rush. And you're right, man. Seeing him next to Ricochet, I was like, oh, man, if he was just a little bit bigger, he could have been Ricochet. You're right. Just that much smaller. I thought it was a good moment, but maybe we get there, right? Maybe that's what leads into him, them having some bullshit or something. But I kind of get the feeling like maybe they thought they were going to do that, and maybe they just walk away from that. Maybe Ricochet doesn't get a crew, right?
My thought was we're putting that on pause until after Y'all in. Then because then we need something after that, right? Then we need, if we shoot all our bullets on a pay-per-view, what are we going to do on Wednesday?
Maybe we debut this crew at Y'all in.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's where, or do it there too. But I was just thinking something to the effect of, yeah, Wednesday after the pay-per-view, we need something. Well, what if it was a new group? Then we got something to talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Hologram wins this match, and I got some thoughts. We need to either, what's the phrase? Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Because Hologram, I believe, is still undefeated.
Okay.
And there's micro brawlers, there's t-shirts. He gets a promo package, and promo packages aren't for everyone in AEW.
It's odd to me though, because like they are marketing the shit out of Hologram, but he's also like the most basic costumed like mass luchador in the entire world, it seems
Well,
like.
The glow
pants.
in the dark. Yeah, but the glow. Oh,
yeah, it's the glow.
That's a good. Yeah, it's the glow of it, you know.
Blue pants. Another thing that they managed to fuck up and not.
Yeah. Yeah. What the
shit was on fire.
Yeah, and then she came over to AEW and was like, "I'll be a librarian." It's like that's not it. She was very nice. I met her at a Comic-Con. She was very, very nice.
Yeah.
But Hologram, we need something because I know that we've done a couple matches with the sexiest luchador in the world, the Beast Mordos, but name another one. You know what I mean? Like the two things that I know him for is having a couple matches with the Beast Mordos and Harley Graham. And that's it.
And I remember Harley Graham more than I remember the matches.
Yeah, because again, you're putting all this money. Yeah.
What? Like I know. And here, you know, in this thing here, right? Like he's not gonna take the Mystico spot, but like, why aren't you making him a bigger thing in your regular television? Right?
You know, that could have been the easiest transition. Fuck all this speedball, Mike Bailey. Kevin Knight
Hologram
come out and all that.
Out to help
Hologram helps Mystico. There's the fucking handshake. Yeah, this is the cool guy now. And now Hologram and MJ fucking F. That would be big.
Could have Hologram come out. And he helps. And then Mystico's still doing this. And Hologram calls to the back. And Harley Graham brings the emergency mask out.
Oh, Tim. Here it is. This is exactly how you do it. This is the better way to do it. Tony, fucking call me. Here's how to do it. Right here.
All right,
so
I'm gonna send this to Jeff.
Yeah. All right, this is how you do it. Okay, this is how you do it. You do the same stuff you did with Mystico and MJF, except for when MJF, you got to time this perfect. This is where like your production team cannot fuck up, because if it does, it's a dud. But you have the Hurt Syndicate holding up Mystico, and you have MJF grab that fucking mask and pull it off. But as soon as he pulls it off, lights go out. Doom. So you don't see his fucking face, because again, you do, you're fucked, right? And you could even shoot from the back just in case, right? But if fans see it, they're going to take pictures. You know what I mean? But boom, lights go out. Then give it a moment. Lights don't come back on. The fucking lights of Hologram is standing in the middle of the ring. And he has, I would do this. I don't know if you could do this, but you would have him choking MJF. Lights come on. Hurt Syndicate is down. They're all, oh, my head, I'm knocked out, right? And then you have him like this, and then you just have MJF like fight off the hand, and then like, what the fuck, and then runs off. Mystico slides out. He gets another mask. You know what I mean? And he's good. And now Hologram, MJF at y'all in Texas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do.
Could have done it.
But
send this to Jeff. LinkedIn this to Jeff. We're linked.
Oh my god. Okay, so Hologram wins. But what do you think we do out of this? Anything coming out? Is Ricochet, Leo Rush going to be the feud, or what happens here?
Maybe that's where we start to get into this some of Ricochet needs a crew, right? So maybe Leo Rush and Fuckhead aren't the crew, but that's who the crew will help Ricochet defeat. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Because
crew.
Because Ricochet also, when he loses these $100,000 matches, 4 million pesos, whatever it is, he doesn't like forget it. He's like, "You motherfuckers," and then starts to go
Stab
after
somebody
people.
with some scissors.
Yeah, bring that back too.
I know. I liked the weird serial killer aspect. They kind of went away from that into more of the overconfident nerd.
Yeah, but yeah, get back to the.
You can do both of those. That can be a weird personality mix.
And make it a trademark.
Yeah.
Again, not to steal from the other company, but I would make the scissors and Ricochet as synonymous as Triple H and the sledgehammer. Any fucking time Ricochet needs anything, good guy or bad guy, right? Flip the script and say he's the good guy. It's scissor time again.
It's scissors, because we're all going to change.
Yeah.
The sickos are going to like that.
Oh my God. And if that was his fucking thing, his crew could be the Acclaimed.
The Acclaimed.
No,
yeah.
The Acclaimed.
That's right. He could get them back together
as heels. And then
God.
there we go.
I mean, I don't want to end the best wrestler alive right at the moment.
I do. No, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
But like, how much more?
Oh, this would be better. Yeah, that's true. That's right. This would be better. Yeah. It's got to end sooner or later. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah. How would you end that best wrestler alive? Would you end it at Y'all In and just try to get the biggest name available? Like, ooh, actually, you know what you would do? Because the Hurt Syndicate thing actually might not work. A Von Erich beating the best wrestler alive on the pre-show.
You know what you might do is like, here's what it is fucking Max Caster comes out, does the shtick at Y'all In, right? He's like, whatever. And he's like, he's like, you can tell he's actually like visibly upset by this time, right? Have him lose every week leading up, right? And then be like, this is it. He was like, I'm going to fucking win. He's like, I want the biggest, most badass name you got. And the fucking snow starts coming down and fucking Sting comes out and just fucking drops him.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're out.
Yeah.
Bam. Right. Like he just fucking Scorpion Death Drop.
And if you did that on the pre-show,
yeah.
And if you did that on the pre-show, everyone would be like, "What the fuck happened?" And you would get a lot more traction before your pay-per-view started. Then hopefully, if they're doing that on the pre-show, what the fuck's gonna happen on the pay-per-view?
And then he's just like, the next week we see him, he's like, God damn it, and he just the whole like he's ripping the shit, he's fucking new whatever, right? Maybe that's when Ricochet comes in. He's like, hey, I got a plan for you, but yeah, we would have had to put in some scissor work.
Yeah, scissor work.
I mean?
That needs to be
work. The next couple of weeks, we need Ricochet to be scissoring people.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
No, I just thought of a stupid transition. Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? I don't really mean this to anyone who's about to hear this, but I'm just joking. It's a stupid joke that came to my mind. Speaking of scissoring work, our next match was Mercedes Moné. I don't mean it. It just came to my head.
The 2000s takes from.
Yeah. It just. I grew up in the Attitude Era. What the fuck do you think?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we had the CMLL Women's World Championship match. Mercedes Moné, your challenger, versus the champion. Who is it, Tim?
Zeusis.
There it is.
Nailed it. Wrong.
Yeah.
Zeusis, I think.
Even better.
Yeah.
Man.
Interesting to call Mercedes the challenger in any match when she's walking out with 5 belts. And,
well, didn't we okay, so I will say this. The best thing that Mercedes does is wrestle, and this was awesome, right? I don't think either of us are disagreeing with that.
Zeusis, again, we're butchering this name probably, but awesome here too. Really good.
Yeah. Awesome by both ladies here, both women, I should say. Everything was great. I like the finish wasn't a traditional finish. It wasn't she doesn't call it the bank statement anymore, but whatever that she calls it now, the money maker or whatever or something. Yeah. It didn't end that way. It ended with like a reversal of a top rope move, and there you go, right? More of that. That's great. But didn't we kind of jump the fucking shark when Tony Storm suplexes her and 15 belts like she's goddamn Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, but that was great.
Throws off. Like,
yeah, but that was great because I mean she was already set up. Like they gave a good reason to be set up like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Holding it. But we got Tony Storm Diego here, right? Like that's
yes.
what we got here.
Yeah. Well, and we got Mina.
Yes.
Being her best friend, saying like, ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. And Mercedes like, you bitch. That was a fun thing too. She's like, you bitch, you fucking, and then whoa, and then yeah. Also, what are we doing with the sniffing now? Is that just the thing about this feud? We just sniff?
I don't know, because was she sniffing or was she like I thought I was like, was she saying something to her, right? Like is she?
I thought she was sniffing her.
Yeah,
I thought she
I
was
think
sniffing
she was
her.
sniffing her.
Yeah.
In her promo when we start seeing and she's giving the whole like speech, the line that stuck out to me the most was "Deep throat the Tabasco, baby. It's time to turn up the heat." I was just like, God damn, Tony Storm. She's the best. Look, we got folks in the chat. We got Theo P saying "Viva la Mexico" and Derek 83 saying "My sweet angel, Mina."
She's awesome.
Respect on that name.
The only thing I would have had her do just a little bit different is have her dance more.
Yeah.
That's what she does when she comes out. I would have had her do the same fucking dance. You know, all that stuff.
Yeah. But this whole Carmen Sandiego shtick was great. I mean, again, we're in a different country, so this makes sense, right? Like, she's tracking. That's the best.
And she's playing a role. And what role would you play when you're trying to find someone? Yeah, perfect. I think it was awesome. Yeah, remember when Mina would do that dance within that blonde girl that Tony Storm ended up taking the title off of?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to her?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. She's just not wrestling anymore. That was Mariah May. She didn't wrestle anymore.
That's all right. Mariah May. I couldn't think of her name.
Yeah, she's just done. She just retired, I guess.
The end, really. Man.
Yeah.
I liked her. She was really fun.
Yep.
All right, let's get to our main event.
It's like Dean Ambrose. He retired.
Who?
Dean Ambrose.
Oh, yeah.
He retired. You don't ever see him again. Ever.
Yeah, because the guy in the main event, your AEW World Champion, John Moxley, kind of acts like him. But if I remember,
shoulder back.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, Dean Ambrose had a better hairline. So obviously not this. Yeah, remember that slick back?
15 years ago.
Yeah, remember that slick back look that he had when I said he should be the like white trash godfather?
I mean, I'm sure that has nothing to do with injectables.
By the way, you want to hear a hot take that I have? Complete side note, side quest that we're going to go down.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about in sports, baseball and football players do the most steroids, TRT, HGH, all that stuff, right? But what if it's basketball? Because I remember in the 90s, every fucking player played every goddamn minute and you never heard of an injury, right? Now, because I heard this, Gilbert Arenas said this, where he said, back in the 90s, there was one test a year. He said, and everyone knew the date, so you could do whatever you wanted. And he was talking about smoking weed.
Right.
He said, then you could just cycle off, get it out of your bloodstream, do the test, pass the test, and then get back on. And then my mind went to, well, if everyone's getting hurt now, right? We're popping Achilles, Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard can't even get through a NBA playoff series, right? Yeah. And he's awesome. And Steph Curry is getting hurt with a quad injury and all this stuff. And now they do 4 tests a year. How the fuck did 5'9" John Stockton play all those fucking games against Alonzo Mourning and Shaq and Akeem Olajuwon?
Getting beat up too, and we were allowed to beat the shit.
Yeah, but those
go to the
motherfuckers,
paint in an NBA game in the '90s was a death sentence.
But they could make the next night and play the whole 4 quarters.
The same way the Click was making each show and TV shows.
Well, that's what I'm saying is maybe they got that WWE fun diet and just.
So speaking of hairlines, John Moxley shows up.
Yeah. So we got John Moxley. This is what we got. 10-man tag. We got John Moxley, Willer Yuta,
who got a "fuck you Yuta" chant in English in Mexico.
Thank you guys. Listening to us. Started the movement.
Like, first of all, the transcending of hate.
Yes. Because if memory serves me correct, in that MJF match, they were calling him cuss words, but in Spanish. So
Yeah.
not even MJF got the fuck
No,
you
yeah. No, they
MJF
got,
chant.
fuck you, Yuta. Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Moxley, Yuta, the EVPs, and then I read about this when I was also reading about why Atlantis Juniors hated so much, and the Beast Mortos. And why that's significant is the Beast Mortos left a handful of years ago, CMLL, to go to the AAA promotion. And when they did that, CMLL was like, well, then lose our fucking address because you're never coming back. And so when apparently Claudio had travel issues and couldn't get to the venue, Tony Khan was like, hey, please, 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 please. And they said, essentially, CMLL was like, we'll give him another shot. This will be his another tryout for him. Like, they're going to make him start from square one, but they'll say, like, if he's doing right by Tony Khan, maybe he can do right by us. So that was huge, apparently. Like, when he came out, from what I was reading, it was like, huh? You know, like, pretty interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Neither did I. So I've learned something there. But they took on Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, and your trios champs of the Ops. Right?
Side note, if you didn't see this online, I guess Will Ospreay, like, grandfather had just died, like, the day before or something like that, too. So, like, this was this was a bit,
man.
Like, I think he, like, kind of thanked people for, you know what I mean, supporting him and stuff and all that.
What was up with his head? Did he get cut?
I don't know. I don't know if he,
because it looked like he bladed the other day and had to put it around his head.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of, is he trying to find ways to keep his hair out of his eyes? It was like, that's why I cut my hair that way.
maybe, yeah, maybe. But yeah, we got the Ops.
Get it man bun length. And then
just pull it back. Yeah. But we got the Ops, which is, of course, Powerhouse Hobbs, Shibata, Samoa Joe.
Derek 83 said, Beast Mortos is getting into all the places I want to go. Hey-o.
Yeah, he's doing that.
He's getting into the bar, is what he's talking about. The law bar. He's going to be a lawyer soon. Frank Morgan.
Yeah. How fucking cool is that?
Yeah, that's fun.
They have to do something with it. If they don't do a debate with Smart Mark Sterling and the Beast Mortos.
Hear me out. Remember when TNA did this where he was Joseph Park, but he was also Abyss, and he was Joseph Park.
Oh, yeah. Well, no one would know. We've never seen his face.
Yeah. I mean, we would. It's only one guy who fucking looks.
Nah, just always have him in like a college shirt.
But if he ever is like, okay, I'll lose the mask, and then this is how we'll do it, right? Like, yeah. He could be his lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm Frank Mortos, attorney at law for Beast Mortos, no relation.
Yeah. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want to do it, I thought the cool segment would be a legal debate over a contract, and Smart Mark Sterling.
Does he still roar?
Yes, that's all he does.
Roar. Yeah.
But Smart
everybody
Mark
knows what he's saying, though.
Yeah. Well, Smart Mark Sterling obviously knows. He's like, you fucking know. Yeah. That is obviously not right. And he opens another. You see here? No, it doesn't say that. And roar. It doesn't say it. Okay?
No, pursuant to Plessy versus.
And he can object, but say roar, right? Roar. We
Sustained.
know it's objective. Yeah, the judge was sustained. Yes. That is what he's.
This is wrestler's court. This is what we need. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. And Billy Gunn is the judge.
Yeah, he would have to be here.
That's the perfect judge.
Daddy ass.
Yeah.
Your Honor, Daddy ass.
That's it. That is it. Oh man. Okay. So obviously that's the only thing going on in his life.
Robe the same length as Anthony Bowen's crop top that he was.
Wait, he takes out the part that's missing that Anthony's wearing. That's great. So yeah, that's obviously the only thing going on Beast Mordo's life is that he getting a shot at CMLL and he's becoming a lawyer.
Derek 83 reminded us. Ospreay got kicked in the face by the Young Bucks with tacked shoes.
That's it. Okay,
He
right.
took
So
one for Swerve.
Yes, for Swerve. Okay, that is because I was like something that looks kind of shitty, right? Like, and so yes, that is it. Thank you so much. That was the missing link there, not the wrestler from Texas. But we get the good old wrestle.
I said
right?
the ops when Samoa Joe came out. I said on the Blue Sky that he looked like he just got done fucking and smoking a blunt. Like he was just like there. I was like, all right.
Maybe he was
He's having a great night. Yeah, maybe it happened. They're in Mexico.
Maybe, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. This was like, well, we're going on last. Yeah. Well, we're going on last. So I got
we got time.
Yeah. So yeah, we get the good old wrestle, right? Wrestle.
A lot of wrestle here.
Wrestle. And
Marina Shafir being her.
Yeah. Just
things.
just no charisma, just nothing. But here's what I thought was the craziest thing. Moxley wins by beating Swerve.
Mm-hmm. Pinned him.
Not Shibata.
It was a bit of a gotcha moment.
Right, but it wasn't Shibata, it wasn't Powerhouse Hobbs, it wasn't Joe.
So maybe this is just to lean more into he's got to stay involved, right? So now he's gonna shit talk Swerve a little or something, or Swerve's gonna be like, yeah.
Or maybe he's like, he cheap shot me, so I'll help you, Hangman. Maybe this is what'll get him over that hump. Because what ends up happening is Swerve, he doesn't tap out, does he? He just goes, he passes out. Was that what happened?
I think that. Was it pass out or did it pin? I can't remember.
Oh no, it was a pin. I'm sorry. Yeah. It was a pin. So then after that, we said, we ain't done. We want some more fun. They start beating up the good guys more. And then that's when, as you mentioned in his promo to kick off the show, he said, after the match, there's no restrictions.
Came out in the fire shirt.
Hangman Adam Page. Here's the thing with Hangman. The one thing that I want to have changed. If he doesn't, totally fine. It's his character. He knows better than I do, so I wouldn't fight him on it. Maybe it happens at Y'all In. We need the music to go back.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, at this point, you're a good guy, right?
Well, I read a thing on Blue Sky when I was catching up on the show that someone said what Hangman has been saying the entire time hasn't changed. It's just we were booing him and now we're cheering him. Now, I would say the one thing that did change is he said, I'm going to win the title for all of you believing in me. So there was a little bit, but as far as his motivations and things like that, it's been kind of consistent. But yeah, the music that needs to be.
Yeah, but I think you're right. That's going to happen at All In.
Yeah,
should happen if we're going to make the switch at this point. Like I said, we're a couple weeks out. Save it for that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I told you that song goes with anything. Cook pasta.
He's riding out a horse at Y'all In, right?
Oh yeah, he has to.
White horse.
Oh my, yes, yeah. I rewatched the Stadium Stampede. He does know how to ride a horse. When he chased Sammy Guevara, and then he has it just
how to ride a horse. Yep.
Strolling around. He wasn't messing around.
Hangman.
He is Hangman.
Millennial Cowboy.
Yeah, that would be the best. But yeah, that song goes with anything. Make pasta, read a book, make love, all of it.
To me,
goes great.
I know he got the haircut that was fucked up a little bit and he's working on getting it back out, but is the mustache getting longer too? I think we're getting
so.
a more Stan Hansen-esque.
Yeah. Magnum TA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Speaking of Stan Hansen, I actually got the newest action figure of Stan Hansen. Yeah, pretty cool.
That's good.
Yeah, I like that. So yeah, Hangman comes out and he's like, "Motherfucker, that bell rang, so I'm kicking your ass." To his credit, Moxley was
cowboy shit.
Yeah, Moxley's like, okay, because what I thought was interesting is he didn't do the "oh, I'm scared." He kind of just waiting for him. He was looking around. He's like, "Okay, I know he's coming, but hey, what's up? Where are you? Okay, yeah, no, you're here, you know." Yeah.
Everybody's cheering. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and we do the punchy punch face, right? Punch, punch, punch,
Mm-hmm.
punchy punch, punchy
Yeah,
punch,
the hockey
punch,
fight in
punch,
the
punch.
middle of the
Yeah,
ring, right?
yeah. And fuck the Florida Panthers. And Hangman, or excuse me, Moxley throws Hangman to the outside of the ring, which obviously means you're getting the buckshot. And so Hangman goes for the buckshot. Moxley goes, not to me, and sidesteps him. And Hangman hits old Matt Jackson, I think it was, with the buckshot lariat, takes him out. Nick Jackson's like, hey, man, what are we
Yeah.
doing? You know?
Yeah.
And the bad guys leave, right? That allows Moxley to grab his title, I think it was, and then he leaves. And then it was a little clunky because then the EVPs are like, oh man. And
You're like,
like
what the fuck? Yeah.
Hangman chases off some of them and then just like has to like look at the rest of, excuse me, look at the EVPs just walk by and he's like, yeah, brr, brr. And then like that was a little clunky.
Yeah, and I don't know what they're could be foreshadowing too. I don't need them to be connected here with what's going on, but I mean they are. But like,
Yeah, but also, I mean, like we've seen them fight each other in the past, right? We did the
yeah, so it's
Dark
not
Order and
weird that
Hangman. Yeah, it's
yeah
not weird
they're not
'cause we did.
untouchable to each other.
Yeah, and so I don't.
Theo P says LMAO Panthers win the cup. Hashtag Bettman directive. Keep Canadian teams out of the Stanley Cup. You can get behind that.
No, man.
Keeping Canadian teams out of the Stanley. You're a Seattle guy.
No. Well, Kraken
it
need
up.
to win everything. Yeah, crack it up, Kraken. But if not the Kraken, then Canada, it's their fucking sport. Canada has more recently won an NBA championship and a Major League Baseball World Series championship more recently than they've won the
I
NHL
mean, look, I'm ready to defect.
Stanley Cup.
I'm ready to
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Edmonton.
get on a boat and go up the Mississippi. Let's
Yeah.
get to Canada.
Edmonton's in the central time zone, so it still would be in the one true time zone.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Go right up there. You know what I mean?
And how better of a town would it be with us in it?
Yeah. Oh, you know what I would do first thing?
Hmm.
Find the Spanish announce table Canuckies. You know, I'm kicking the shit out of them.
Yep.
Yep. That's
Come take
first
our
thing.
royalties.
Yeah. 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 I'm going to say I come in peace except for two motherfuckers.
It
and
has
then
been
I'm
24 years since the Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup with the
92. Yeah.
Jesus.
Or 91. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Because 92 was when the Blue Jays won the World Series. 2019 was when the Raptors won the NBA championship. And I believe it was Edmonton in 91, if my math is right, that won the Stanley Cup. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the Florida teams, Tampa and Florida Panthers, 5 years in a row, one of those teams have been in the Stanley Cup.
Jeez.
Yeah, it went 3 years Tampa, and then it's been the last 3 years Florida. They've each won two, and they've each lost one. Well, yeah, last 5 years. Florida,
Hockey.
you know, where all the ice is. Florida.
Yeah, well, there'll never be ice there again. Just give it another 5 years. Florida might not even be there in 5 years. Well, yeah.
If only. But yeah, that was.
They got Mar-a-Lago. I know that.
Yeah, they got probably other bullshit. What was that one fucking weirdo they got kicked out? Anyhow.
Oh, sorry. Oops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did that happen?
I don't know. But
Doesn't
also,
copyright us.
no, he wouldn't. YG's a good guy.
Well, Derek said ice is all over Florida. Yeah, well, fuck them too.
Right there. That's all I'll say back to that. Right there. But yeah, that was our show. Kind of ended a touch clunky, but I thought this was damn near a 10 out of 10. Everything was great.
Yeah. And the crowd, like I said, I wanted to live in that crowd. That crowd was amazing.
Yeah. The only thing that I would change, and it's just because of I do prefer story progression, I would had some backstage stuff, right? Renee, something.
Yeah, we're too close to like your big event here
to just be like
pay-per-view. Not
pay-per-view.
have anything. Now, I think they did some good storytelling within matches, but
oh yeah, but yeah, tell us more about Okada and Don Callis. Tell us. Maybe I'm weird here, but the tag team division, your tag team champs are just lackeys right now.
Bodyguards.
Yeah, so do something with that. And I did see it, and I do agree. More women matches would be nice, right? We could have done. Let's look through the card here. We
They
could
did
have
main
done.
event. That was a good point. But like, yes, there could have been more matches. They made. Oh no, they didn't main event. That's right.
They didn't main
the
event.
10-man tag main event.
Yeah, the 10-man.
See, they should have ended with the Mercedes and the
yeah.
Tony Storm.
Yeah,
Should have
doing
ended
that.
with that. No, I mean, Hangman. God, damn it.
Well,
Hangman's
that
always good because he had to be there after the match. That's right, after the event ended. Yeah.
But if you weren't going to, if I could redo it, if you weren't going to advance the Okada Don Callis, I would have taken off Mark Briscoe Okada and put in Willow versus Statlander. You know what I mean? Something like that. Something, because again, what happens with Statlander?
Yeah.
2 weeks
there could
ago.
have been some. I mean, certainly Zeuxis isn't the only female Mexican wrestler that's a big star. Like
have that person wrestle Willow. Willow needed to be on the card. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who else would have been a great on the card? Yeah. But I digress. So yeah, great show. Loved it a lot. One of their signature events. Hopefully they do this. Don't go to the well too often, right? We don't need to go every year in June.
Year,
yeah, but every other year would be cool.
I've said this before, like you do some of these things every 18 months, right? Round it out, right?
If you could make another market a Grand Slam, here you go. Switch off now. Tell me what you think about this idea. Switch off Grand Slam between Australia and Mexico. Australia gets it next year. Then after that, Mexico.
Do Canada every other year there,
Yeah.
Just bounce it around.
Yeah, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, there you go. That's what I would do. But you don't do it every year, Grand Slam Mexico, because then by your fourth show, you're going to have to leave, kind of like you did with All In. Yeah.
Well,
but there you go. Yeah.
So hit us up next week as we watch more AEW Dynamite. You can join us live on the Blue Sky. We're skeeting away furiously throughout the evening. AllEliteWrapup.com, AEWrapup@gmail.com. And until then.
Hey, hit up Jeff Jarrett on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn, yeah. If you got something you need Jeff to see, get it to me and I'll send him a LinkedIn message. I don't know whatever you do there. You poke people on LinkedIn? I don't know what you do. All right. So until next week.
Piss off then.